This will be chapter 1. Again, it's very close to the 5th edition, but a little newer this way. All right, chapter 1, an introduction to networking. Okay, we're going to learn that stuff there. Okay? All right. Why is networks? Does anyone remember when networks first started getting popular? Anyone remember what time period that was? About mid-90s. I mean, early to mid-90s. I worked in building 230 at Tinker. Some of you know the hangar 230. Helped install the thicknet there. It used to call thicknet, used to call frozen yellow garden hose. It was about the size of your thumb. It was really thick and it barely bent. And it could hold no more than 100 transceivers or computers on it. And they had to be like every 3 feet apart. The cable actually had a black stripe on it. And you couldn't put a connection closer than a black stripe because of the timing. It actually teed off with a transceiver. But I remember helping install that. This is in mid-90s, on 90, maybe around 95, maybe a little bit earlier. We're like, wow, 100 computers? There ain't no way. Dude, we got 20 in this room. I mean, it's changed a lot. Okay, but yeah, can anyone imagine if we don't have networking? Anyone ever work at a place where your network goes down? Rose State's network goes down? Man, this place is like, it must float on the thumbs. We had enrollment a couple semesters ago, and the internet went down. But I had my phone. I was able to tether my desktop computer to my phone. And everywhere, all the advisors were running into my office. Hey, kid, I need to enroll someone real quick. They're all using mine. Because I mean, we totally rely on it now. Okay? Does anyone actually pay bills with a check that you stick in an envelope with a stamp? No one's going to admit it. No one's going to admit it. You know, I bought some forever stamps. You know, the stamps that last forever, because I don't use them very much. And the way prices keep changing each year, heck, I bought them like 4 years ago. I still got a couple piles of them. So, but networking, we use them for everything. You pay bills with them, you know, just do all kinds of stuff. So what a network is a group of computers, okay? Group of computers and devices, okay? Now, devices. Some people think a network is just the computers. Well, it could also be the switch. It could also be the camera. It could also be the biometric thing on the door. It could be a thermostat. Let me show you that real quick. I'll try to keep moving this so you can hear me. Okay. Come on. I'll go this way. Come on. I'll show you something here. I might show it to you. Hold on. I lost my bar at the top. Where's my title bar? Oh, there. Well, okay. That's my solar panels in my house. I'm currently generating 467 watts of power. It's low. Let's look at this one here.
What was it when it was under 15 degrees?
Actually, temperature has nothing to do with it, believe it or not.
I know.
I've generated about 2,200 watts. Guess when the best time to generate power is? What? How about part of the year, time of the year?
Summer solstice.
Actually, winter time around 5 o'clock, or around 3 o'clock. Because, okay, I got a house with a roof, and my solar panels are mounted on my roof. So my panels like this. In the summertime, the sun's up here. So it's coming in at an angle. In the wintertime, the sun's more toward the south. It's directly aligned. Even though I get less sunlight, hour-wise, I get better sunlight. How about this? This is the power utilization at my house right now. I'm using 641 kilowatts at this very second. I'm generating 400, so I'm really only using 200. So I wonder what the heck it is. I'm not home.
Air conditioner.
Air conditioner's off. It's got to be the refrigerator. It's probably the refrigerator.
Freezer.
Freezer? I got rid of that. The pool pump's off until 7.
Server.
No, dude, I unplug everything. I walk through the house, plug in everything. You leave a computer on in my house, I unplug it, unplug lights, I unplug every blooming thing. Hey, I got my power. My electric bill for last month, which was the hottest month ever, $160. Yeah, I've had mine up to 400.
You run
Okay.
a well system?
Yeah, I have a well.
That runs electric.
There could be. Yeah, but the pump shouldn't be running right now. We're not using any water. Probably something in my house on. Oh, I know what it is. I got fans in the attic to cool the attic down. That's what it is.
Electric water.
Someone's got an extension cord.
I got a gas water heater. I got an intercom system, use some power. Or something.
Cell phone charger like plugged in.
Yeah, and then I find that person and have to beat him up. All right. Show you another one. Come on. Very slow today. Wow. Well, there it goes. Okay, and I do have, a router running and, an external or a hard drive running. And see, it's currently 81 degrees in my house. It's set at 87. Love this thing. I can check and set the temperature remotely. I have it set to go off and then come back on at 7 p.m. when the electricity's cheap. You all know about the whole time of use thing?
2 to 7.
Yeah, 2 to 7. Man, 2 to 7. My pool pump turns off. Everything turns off. And at 7 o'clock, everything kicks back on. But all through a network. So nice to be able to turn it on. I can open and close my garage doors from my phone. I can do pretty much anything. I can turn on bug lights. I got a bug light out on my back porch. There's nothing more annoying than you got the bug light on to kill some bugs, and then you go to bed. You turn off all the lights, and you see a blue glow. You're like, well, crap, the bug light's on. So what do? You got to get back out of it. Nope, grab your phone and turn it off. So, very nice. So. All right, but networks, we use them for everything, okay? It's stuff connected by some sort of media. What kind of media do we have in this room? Does anybody know?
You got wireless coaxial, or not coaxial, but copper.
We have copper. We have what's called twisted pair, which we're going to learn all about these. This is UTP, unshielded twisted pair. Cat5 is the version. Actually, it's 5E. We also have wireless because they have wireless access throughout the school. But, that's the medium. What do cell phones use for a medium? Wireless. It's basically 4G, 3G, 2G, whatever you connect is, so it's wireless. Okay? We also have a standalone computer. This computer stands alone, all by itself. Not connected to nothing. Okay? Not connected to other ones. Use local software and data. People still use those nowadays? Sure. Some places, I used to take care of a company over off a council called Taylor Valve Technologies and also Rupture Pin, and they make oil well components. They had those massive lathe machines. You give it a chunk of metal and it shoots out something. But they basically had a standalone computer that they would program it all in and they would build it. So, all right. Advantages, device sharing. What's the number one use of a network? What do you think? File and printer sharing. Way back in 90-something, when I was going to school, I was taking my very first networking class. Excuse me, taught by a guy's name of George Floyd. Actually, he works at OSF now, if anyone works at OSF. Real sharp. He helped install the Turner Turnpike, the fiber optic there, and he was telling us how the gophers and stuff would eat through the fiber optic cable. Like, they would only eat the orange color. They were always eating one specific color of the fiber optic cable on the Turner Turnpike. It was crazy, But we had a guy come in and speak in one of our classes there, and he was actually from GM. Remember when he had GM? Some of you probably aren't old enough to remember GM, but GM was down the street. He was brought in to determine their utilization for IT, okay, as a consultant. And first thing he did, interviewed people. So, all right, took all the employees. Hey, how many computers we got? How many printers we got? How many? What are we using for? Just ask the people what they thought. Then he actually went out and did an inventory. Well, the people thought there was, pretty much the correct number of computers because pretty much everybody had one in the area. But printers, they thought they were pretty much sharing them. Like, oh, there's one for every 4 or 5 people. Well, they basically had a printer for every single person. Is that a good use of a network? No. Chapel Supply, another company across town I still help a little bit now. They have a big, huge honking printer that everybody can print to. Then they also have printers on every desk. That drives me crazy. I'm like, you want to save some money, get rid of all these printers. But the problem is you go to a receptionist and you say, Okay, there's a printer right there. Why do you need this one?
So you don't want to get up and walk.
I don't have to get up. I want to be able to grab it when I print it. She goes, I am so much more productive because I can hit print and grab it. Rose State had a policy until last year that every faculty member had to have their own printer. No printer sharing allowed whatsoever. That's why pretty much everyone on campus has their own printer. My office, we share one because I said, no, I don't want 4 printers in my office. That's crazy. So I shared them out anyway. I actually make a hidden share. No one knows about it. It worked fine. But now, since we have a budget crunch, they are okay with sharing printers again. But it was, yeah, file and printer sharing is the #1 use of a network. Where share files, share printers. Web, we're basically reading other people's files they put on the web. Okay, saves money, saves time. Rather than buying those really expensive printers, we could share. In our building here, we have 1 color printer. If we need something in color, we can print to it. And the only problem is got people printing to it when they don't need something in color, which drives me crazy, but they do anyway. All right. Central network management. Depending on the kind of network you got, you can manage it centrally. Over in the other building, in IT services, they manage all these phones. These are our Cisco phones. Okay, we all have one on our desk. Every office has one. Plus, there's one in each classroom for security reasons. If I need anything changed on the phone, I call up Daria or email her. I say, Daria, can you do whatever on my phone? All she needs to know is the MAC address. MAC address is on the phone. It's basically the hardware address, which we're going to learn about. She just goes remotely and programs the phone. Makes it pretty nice. All of our printers on campus that are the shared printers, like the ones in our lounges, the big printers, those are all managed from over there. You can do everything. I mean, those of you who have my grant, I got this spreadsheet with all your grant information in it. It's not on my computer. It's on Roy's computer in my office. I remotely get in it, edit it, and change things. Then I can remotely get permissions, all kinds of stuff. Heck, I can remotely change my thermostat. Y'all saw that? Okay. All right. Models vary. Okay. According to positioning of them, the level of resources, okay, and also the communication, how they're being shared. Could I share stuff with China? I could. I could share stuff with anybody. Just depending on how you do it. I loaned out a laptop, man. This had to be 97, 98. I had a laptop of mine, and a friend of mine was going on a trip. He says, Ken, can I borrow your laptop? I said, sure, take my laptop. So he borrowed it, brought it back to me, and plugged it in. Then I remotely connected into the laptop to get some files off of it. It's full of porn. Great. So all my files are gone. I mean, literally, all my stuff was gone. All I had was porn. Like, I was a very happy person. So I'm just getting ready to call that guy, and I looked over. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to plug the laptop in. I hadn't plugged it in yet. So I'm like, how do I got porn? Well, what was popular back then, we had DNS. We also had something called WINS. Windows Internet Name Services. Well, what that would do is it would map a computer name, not a domain name, a computer name to an IP address. I used WINS. And I typed in / laptop, and there was none on my network. So I went out on the internet, looked for somebody else that was using WINS. I had a machine called Laptop, connected right on in, and got all their stuff. So it's so sharing sometimes can be an issue. I used to be partners with the company, and the girl lived up in Edmond. She shared her printer out. Whenever I needed, something for her, I could hit print and print out of her computer up in Edmond. So sharing is very, very nice. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. Okay, models. We got a peer-to-peer. That's like what's the big file sharing thing? LimeWire, Kazaa, BearShare, those Morpheus, those kind of things. I know no one does that in here. Yeah, whatever. Okay. But peer-to-peer is you could connect to each other. I use peer-to-peer all the time. I use something, it's now called Windows Live Mesh. That used to be called Folder Share. If you've never used this thing, it's kind of cool. What it does, I run it on my laptop, I run it on my office PC, I run it quite a few places, but I have a folder that's shared. Whenever I put something in that folder, it synchronizes with all the other machines connected. So I can grade some homework files at home, hit save, instantly transfers via the internet to my office PC here. I love it because I used to have to, I would grade at home, then I would come to work and go to grade something. I'm like, crap, I forgot his files at home. Now it instantly synchronizes up. My son was in Arizona for a while. He'd want to move because I take care of the Hera video store, Slick Flick Video in here in New Orleans, I take care of their computer, so I get all the videos for free. Well, I make copies of them because I want to watch them electronically on my. I burn them onto my TV, but I would put them in a shared folder, and my son, that would instantly transfer to Arizona. Then my son could watch all the latest movies without having to do anything. It's called Windows Live Mesh. It's free. It's kind of like Dropbox and all them, but it's great for synchronizing stuff. It's really good. Okay. Okay. They also vary by position. We talked about that. Peer-to-peer. I just talked about it. Also client-server. We use an Exchange server here for email. I'm a client. I connect to a server. That's how file servers are. You're a client connect. That's how web servers are. If you think about it. I just brought up my thermostat web page to log in. I was the client connecting to the server. So client server is you're connecting to something. Okay. All right, peer-to-peer, directly connect two together. Like I said, that Windows Live Mesh, it's not. See, the difference between Windows Live Mesh and Dropbox is Dropbox, it does synchronize with my PC, but it also keeps a copy on Dropbox. Windows Live Mesh keeps nothing on their own servers. It's just on my machine. So if I have two machines connected, it'll synchronize those two. And if one's turned off, it'll just keep it there. The moment you turn it back on, then it synchronizes. Like my home machine is off right now. But when I get home tonight and I turn it on, instantly all the files from Rosetta are going to synchronize to it. So it's really two PCs connecting together via a connectivity mechanism. But yeah, okay. All right. Everybody's equal authority. Okay. Peer-to-peer was very popular back when Internet first came out, because everybody was, we'd have we didn't have the domain model back then. You basically log into your PC. What sucked was if I wanted to log in each one of these PCs in this room, I'd have to have an account on each one of these PCs in this room. If I want to change the password, guess what I had to change it on? Each one of these PCs in this room. So it sucked. Okay, but really no one is more powerful than the other. Everybody's equal. That's why it says equal authority. Okay. Individual resource sharing. The problem with that is everybody can be sharing files everywhere, which is fine. But if all 16 of you in here were sharing files and I needed some of them, would I have a heck of a time finding it? Yes. I was in the Apple store this weekend and had a broken iPad, which is still broken, but that's okay.
Well, the geniuses couldn't fix it.
Oh, no, actually, they could for a fee. But, yeah, did anyone see what happened in my office Thursday? Roy said, I can fix that.
How did he manage to do that?
Well, basically what happened was the home button and the connector, it came unplugged on the inside. But to get to it, you have to remove the screen. I could have got it fixed for $70. Just $70. Apple wanted $250. I could have got it fixed for $70. Roy shattered the screen removing it. So now he plugged it back in for free, but now I got to replace the screen. But I ordered online for about $42. So assuming you can put it back together correctly, we'll be okay there. So, where was I going with that? But, I don't know where I was going with that. But everybody can share stuff. I was saying something about sharing, but, I know what it is. I was at the Apple store, right? And I was there with my stepkids, okay? Brought 3 of them with me. And you ever been to the Apple store? They got, like, iPads everywhere. And supposedly, I don't know if this is the true fact or not, supposedly, all the popular games and everything are in there. They're just on one of the iPads. So they always say, if you want to try out an app, come to the Apple store. They have it. You can try it out for free. So that's what I told the kids. Just go out and play the games while we're talking to these dudes. Didn't have to pay for it. But the problem was we didn't know which iPad had it on it. Problem is, they'd go from iPad, okay, this one's got this game on it, this one's got this game on it. So we really there was no directory telling us where to get this certain game from. That's what would happen if we all shared stuff in here. Can you imagine all 16 of you shared stuff? I'm like, oh, no, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. That would suck. That's what centralized domain model type, client server type stuff. I can go to one place and get it all. Okay? I had the same issue in my house. Anyone have a lot of iTunes music? Maybe you share with your wife or your girlfriend or someone, and you got like duplicates, or like me. Like I said, I burn movies. And I burn them so I can put them on my TV and watch them, or on my iPad. Or something. It's not illegal because I work for the video store. It's okay. I'm not stealing them from anybody. But the problem is I have it on my desktop when I burn it. They copy it into iTunes. And then my wife will get a copy. And soon I got that movie on 4 and 5 places. So what I have now is I have an Apple Airport Extreme, which is a wireless, or basically a wireless router. It's got a terabyte hard drive connected to it. I put everything on there. But still, we burn a movie, we still got to move it there, and because duplicates is tough. It's so much stuff. Okay. They also prevent access to resources. What if Bobby over here has a file I need, and Bobby turns the machine off at the end of the day? Guess I'm not getting that file. That place, Terrell Valve Technologies, when I first took over their network, I knew their accountant, and he's the one who referred me to them. Well, their network was a piece of work. It sucked. They had a Windows 95 machine, so you can tell it was back in the mid-90s, that they did everything with, and it was slow, and it just wasn't doing anything. So I talked him into buying Windows NT Workstation. Anyone remember that? That was a small business type server. They only had a few users. So I talked him into getting that, but I said, we really need to have this just sitting there, no one using it, because it's going to be the server for all of our files. And I don't know if you've ever worked with a company trying to convince them to get a server. They don't want to do it. Why don't they want to do it?
It's expensive.
It's expensive. You got a machine just sitting there, no one's doing it. So the accountant was actually still a good friend of mine today. He's like, no, we can't do that. We can't afford that. He goes, but I'll tell you what. We'll put it at my desk. I won't mess with it. I'll just use it during the day. We'll be fine. After about the third day where he turned it off when he went home, and they'd call me, and I'd drive across town, and they had to pay me $100 an hour to drive across town to push the power button. He determined at that point it's better to leave it in a closet somewhere. That was excellent guy, and it was funny because back then we had dial-up. I don't know if some of you who's never used dial-up in their life. Probably you. You really? Y'all old enough to have? Wow. Y'all old group.
Years ago.
Wow. All right, but they had dial-up back then, and again the same accountant guy. The connection to it was behind his desk. So basically his desk is here, and it would go around, down the wall, and actually was behind his chair. And they say, Ken, the internet's dead. I'm like, I'd walk through all the steps with them, and then I ended up driving across town and say, oh, dude, it's unplugged. It's like, so many times, and he got tired of paying me for that, but, I still remember, I think it was one of the last times before they got broadband, Don called me up and was like, Ken, I've checked everything. Internet's dead. I'm like, okay, did you, I did all that. Is it plugged in? Yeah, I'm positive it's plugged in. You sure you checked? Yeah, it's plugged in. So I get in my car. I called him. I said, Don, do me a favor. Turn your chair around. So he turns his chair around. So what do you see? He goes, there's a cable laying on the floor. I said, plug it in. He's like, oh my God, you fixed it. It was like, it's crazy. But sometimes you tell someone, is it plugged in? Oh yeah, it's plugged in. Well, he was checking the other end. He wasn't, it was tough. It's tough. But problem, when you have stuff like that, distributed everywhere, no centralized system, it could be an issue. And plus, you got people who don't know what they're doing. Okay. All right. And that same guy, that accountant, actually opened his own business. He's Sergeant Grit Marine Specialties. He sells bumper stickers, T-shirts, caskets, swords, whatever for Marines. And I think last year he was expecting to make $9 million. Started by selling one T-shirt, in case you're wondering. His website's grunt.com. I took care of him for years. But he started in his study, then he moved to his basement, then he moved to multiple buildings. Now he's got 100 computers, 50 employees. Oh, it's crazy. Awesome guy, though. Really, really nice. All right. So the traditional model says 2 or more general-purpose computers sending and receiving information to each other. Originally, that's what a network was. It was just a couple computers doing something. But nowadays, it's just a couple computers. There's tons of computers. Tons and tons of computers. We got 20-something in this room here. Then we got more than one computer at their house. Yeah, most of us. You don't have more than one? Just one?
Yeah.
You must live by yourself.
Yeah, just one.
Oh, there you go. When I used to run a business, and for the longest time, whatever my clients had, I had. I did that because it bothered me to go out there and not have a clue what I'm doing. So if they want an Exchange server, I'd build myself an Exchange server. That way I looked at what I was doing. Hey, I charged them $100 an hour. You would hopefully I knew what I was doing. But so it worked out really. So I had lots and lots of machines, and I think I have like 5 or 6 now. Something like that. Actually, I got a Dell 17-inch XPS laptop, solid-state hard drive, and turned on almost 2 years now. I've been using my MacBook instead. So I'm using that really nice, super large Dell laptop as a stand to keep my MacBook up a little higher. So one of these days they'll sell, but it'll probably be worthless by then. All right. Yeah, and see, this was a slide that changed, by the way, between the 5th and the 6th edition. this papers weren't there in the 5th edition. I'm just keeping you updated here. So now we have papers. So if you look at last year's editions, it won't have the papers there. But basically, people sharing with each other. Okay? Not a big deal. Okay. All right. Advantages of it. It's very simple to configure. Take a machine, plug it in. You don't need no expensive server. All you really need is some way to connect them together. A hub, a switch, or something. Okay? Less expensive comparable to other models. Again, we didn't have to buy that expensive server or the whatever. I got $100,000 worth of server down the hall in room 201. Peer-to-peer don't need that stuff. Okay? Disadvantages, not flexible at all. Okay? Not necessarily secure. We got Bobby over here. Who knows? Bobby could be putting LimeWire on, sharing files with every. My son used to run LimeWire in my house. Oh, it beat him up. I had to deal with my sons. I don't believe in illegal software or illegal music or anything. So I tell him, if you want a song that bad, you let me know, I'll go buy it for you. He still wouldn't. He'd be downloading all kinds of crap and drove me crazy. Okay, so it's very not flexible, not secure, not practical for large installations or large numbers of users. Okay, just not very good. Okay. All right, resource sharing. It says modify file permissions, control. Basically, it's pretty. Bobby would have to manage the file sharing permissions, or I would have to go to Bobby's machine to do it. Okay, so it was tough to manage. Okay, no central control. What if Bobby's in California? Now I'm going to have to contact her in California to get it done. So it's just not a good way of doing it. Okay, access is not uniform. It's not secure. Who knows? What was it, a couple semesters ago, maybe more than that now, Brad Johnson, our IT guy here now, was on a quest looking for the rogue Linksys access point that someone plugged in the engineering building. So yeah, someone just plugged it in one of the labs. We did in our lab too, but he knew about it. I said, Brad, we're plugging in the Linksys router. It's not connected to the Rose network. You're using it for a project. But yeah, people do that stuff all the time. Students, before we had wireless, would bring in a little router, not tell anybody, plug it into a network jack on the wall, get up their laptop. So, not very secure. Okay, environments, good for small home or office. You got 1 or 2 machines at your house, even a half a dozen machines at your house, no big deal. Do you really need to go out buy Server 2008 and all this other stuff for your home? No. Okay. Large networks using the internet, that's okay. Now they talk about all the sharing stuff here. Okay. So if we're, like I said, that Windows Live Mesh thing, I could literally share with thousands and thousands of machines. I wouldn't need a domain model, so you could still use it. Okay. All right, client server networks. They changed the word here. It used to say client server network parentheses server. Now it just says server. I'm just keeping updated with the major changes we paid big bucks to have done here. It's crazy. Okay. Client server networks have a central computer. Does it have to be one? No. It could be one. Normally it's more than one, though. I think PeopleSoft system alone, where you all enroll in classes and stuff, last time I checked it was 30 separate servers. I don't know how many it is now. We just did another upgrade costing us millions, so it's probably 60 servers now. I don't really know. Okay. The servers facilitate the communications, the resource sharing, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Anyone ever use any sort of chat client, like Google Talk or AOL or something like that? ICQ. That has to be managed by some server. There's some server that they're talking through. I used to run ICQ at Philip Neri because that was really the only chat client you could get that you could actually run your own server for free. So I actually ran my own ICQ server, and they could connect to internally without having to go out to the internet. So I ran that for a few years. Okay. The clients on our client server network, they could be personal computers, they could be workstations. Nowadays, they can be smart devices like our phones. Okay. Has anyone got a phone that they check email and everything on? Yeah, so a lot of people have that now. Okay. Also known as workstations, with central resource sharing controlled by a server. So if we were a client-server network in here, now we'd have some server that would be managing all the file sharing with all the security and where stuff's located, or it probably was the place you got it from anyway. So now if Bobby turns the machine off, no big deal, because it's all on the server actually. All right, So sharing of data, storage space, devices, no direct sharing of client resources. Normally the clients don't share anymore. But the client server network, all of us, we would not have file sharing. We would be using them off the server. And if we wanted to share something, we'd dump it up on the server. Like at Rose State here, we have a network share called business $. Does anyone know what the $ in that share means?
It's like the backdoor. It's the allows you to put it directly.
Well, actually,
the $.
Right, the $ means it's hidden. Okay, a $. Is like an administrator share. But you can share anything on a Windows network, and if the share name ends in a $, still works like a share, but it's hidden. So on the Rose State network, we have business $. Then underneath there, we got all the faculty. We got a KDewey and everybody else's account. So what I do is all the files for the grant, I usually try to keep up there. Why would I do that?
Personal information.
What now?
Personal information.
Okay. No, why would another reason be I want to store them on the server rather than on my PC?
So someone from admin can look at it if they need to see something.
Okay, other people could look at it because they could get to the share.
You lose your data.
I don't lose my data. That's a biggie. That's backed up every night. Is my desktop PC backed up every night? Actually, it is. I'm one of the only ones who has mine back up every night. I use a service called Carbonite. If you ever heard of it, I pay $54 a year for unlimited backup. I'm currently backing up like 260 gigs of data. You can back up everything. Movies, music, whatever you want. You can't beat $54 a year. It's sweet. So, and since I have that synchronization software I told you about, the important files at my house also synchronize to my work machine, which then get backed up as well. So I'm actually backing up my home machine and my work machine all for $54. So I'm not really supposed to do it that way. I also back up an external hard drive, which you're not supposed to be able to do, but that's another thing. All right, so centralized, no direct sharing of clients. We talked about that. Okay, so some of the computer roles on our client server network. We could have a server. Could be one or more. Something in charge. What time is it anyway? The clock's way off, dude. It's almost 1. So we got a ways to go. We ain't even started yet. Ain't even started yet.
6:30.
All right, we got time. Okay, that's what sucks about this class. I've done this for so long. We're only on 12 slides. We can be here for a month. Okay. All right, so we have a server. We can also have clients. Those are the workstations. Those are the people connecting in. Now it can be our smart device. It could be whatever. Okay. They could run applications locally. They could also run shared applications off servers. They could store data locally. They could also store it on the server. They could use applications off the server, use data, use devices off the server. Okay. Uses the server as an intermediary. So if I want to get to the internet, I'm going to go through the server or through the firewall or through whatever we have. Okay. Could be connected to switches and routers. Anyone remember when we had hubs? The difference between a switch and a hub. Actually, nowadays, if you were to go to Walmart and buy a hub, you're not getting a hub, you're getting a switch. A hub is like an extension cord. Whatever goes in on one cable goes out on all the other cables. A switch kind of listens. So, on our switch up here, let's say he's port 20 and she's port 5. If those two wanted to talk, it would go in on 20, out on 5. And that's the only two it would be talking. If we had a hub, everybody would be hearing their conversation. A switch actually segregates the traffic out, which we'll actually see that later on too. Okay, switches and a router. We need some sort of router to connect this. A router connects two different networks together. It's kind of the interchange between I-30 and I-35, or I-40 or something like that. Okay. Yeah, switches allow us to communicate, but we need a router to get out. If you got a link switch router at home, that's probably a router with a switch built in. Okay, most of us have that, I'm assuming. All right, here's a wonderful picture. We have some sort of connectivity device. We've got a workstations connecting to a server. We got a shared printer. Aren't these pictures just amazing? They added some paper on this one too. It's kind of a, don't you love this? Whole new edition of the book and we'll be getting some paper. So, all right. I was teaching wireless semesters ago, and with a new book. And you all know what quality control is. When the last people did, they always check for quality. They always make final adjustments. Well, if you notice in this PowerPoint, there's no periods at the end of the sentences. You're really not supposed to have them there. Well, someone went through the entire PowerPoint and removed all periods. Well, I was teaching a networking class, so 802.11 was now 802.11. All the IP address was now just a string of numbers. I'm like, someone through every single slide for the whole entire book removed all periods. It's like, what the heck? So whoever is doing the quality control sucked. I was very happy with it. All right. So requirements. We need some sort of network operating system. My very first certification was actually in Novell. CNA, Certified Novell Administrators. People see CNA, oh, you're a Cisco. No, I'm a Novell Administrator. I was actually certified in Novell 312. Anyone remember that? Years ago. I taught it here. Since I taught it, I figured I might as well get certified in it. So basically everything I've ever taught, I got certified in. So Novell. Anyone ever play with Banyan Vines? I came to work here in 1996 as an adjunct. They told me, I taught this stuff. I knew what it was. I did it for a living. They said, your username is Ken Space Dewey. I said, no, it ain't. I said, yes, it is. It's Ken Space Dewey. I said, no, your username cannot contain a space. I'll be darned. On Banyan Vines, it can. It's the only network operating system I've ever seen where you can actually have a space in your username. I've never seen that before. It was crazy. It was Ken Space Dewey. I'll be darned. But crazy. Okay. So we got Novell, then we got Windows, we got Apple. There's just tons of operating systems out there. Linux, right? What now? Ubuntu, yeah. Ubuntu is funny. I was on a trip to New Zealand and Australia, and I saw a commercial for Ubuntu. Basically, it's the most reliable, cheapest software you can use. Okay. I was going through the Sydney airport, and they got all those internet terminals. And one of them kept rebooting, and it would come up, Ubuntu, whatever, reboot, Ubuntu, whatever, reboot. I'm like, yeah, that's very reliable. It's funny. I just saw the advertisement. I just saw this Ubuntu machine just stuck in a never-ending boot. But it was funny. Okay, so network operating system manages the client's data, the resources, the printers, the files, that kind of stuff. Okay. Ensures authorized stuff. We're going to talk a whole bunch more about that. The whole, authorization, who can get to what. We'll talk more about that. Control file access, restrict new user network access. And by the way, these slides are on the website if y'all want to get them. I ask that you do not go to our lab and print them. That's just a waste of paper. If you want to print them, at least print 6 per page or something. Normally, I don't put them up there in PDF and PPT format. I normally make them into PowerPoint or PDFs with 6 per page. But, paper is at a premium around here, so watch it. All right. So we restrict network access, dictates communication rules, who can do what. Yeah, you can even say who can get on the network, what time they can get on the network, which machines they can access from. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. Okay. Also supplies applications to the client. Gives me email access. Gives me all kinds of access, so I can give applications to me. Okay. Examples: Unix, Linux, Microsoft Server, Mac OS X. Okay. I don't, I like my Mac. I use my Mac all the time, but I really don't consider Mac a server OS. I know it is. I just don't. It's one of those things that Mac's always been a client. You all read the news yesterday where they're saying that Apple is now the most profitable company in history. Totally false. Because if you were to get IBM's dollar value years ago and convert it to today's dollar value, they're like so much. Even Microsoft. Years ago when Microsoft was the most popular one, if you convert it to today's dollar, they'd be more popular. But I'm saying Apple is right now. But, they will be after the next iPhone comes out. All right. Server features relative to clients. Memory, processing, storage. A lot of times your clients don't have a lot of memory. They don't have a lot of storage space. Do you need it? That's why when I ran my business, people say, how big a hard drive should I get? I'm like, you're on a client-server network. Everything's stored on the server. Get a 40 gig for all I care. You don't need it. Now, for home use, yeah, you're probably storing, 18 copies of every movie and every song and all this other crap, so you might need more. But I have every movie I've ever rented from the video store. I have a copy of, so it's like lots of stuff. So. All right, but storage capacity, normally your server has more. Okay, it could be equipped with special hardware, maybe faster drives. Okay, maybe tape drives, stuff like that. Okay, Disadvantages. It could be complex design and maintenance. Can a normal home user configure a server 2008? Actually, now it's pretty darn simple. But can they get it all working correctly? Probably not. Probably not. So it's usually hard to configure. Not hard, but Alright. Advantages relative peer-to-peer. It says user credentials assigned from one place. Now I can create user accounts, and you can log in from any computer on the network. I can log in with my KDE account, any computer in Rose's network, with the exception of the cybersecurity lab. We are a separate lab. We're not connected to the Rose network. We are, but we're VLANed off, which we'll learn more about later. Okay. Multiple shared resources, actualized centralized. Basically, we have shareds. Like I told you about that business dollar sign. They manage it. Give me access to it. If I want to give the guy who works in my office access to it, I just call him and say, hey, give away access to this file share. And they just give him access to it. They can do it all from over there. Okay?